Today we are reacting to The Dark Reality of A Thousand Ways to Die by Ali Tricoso, if I'm pronouncing that right. Sorry if I'm butchering your name, but I'm gonna call you Ali. So we're reacting to The Dark Reality of A Thousand Ways to Die by Ali. Let me know if you guys ever watch A Thousand Ways to Die. It used to be on TV, I think Spike TV, back in the day. I remember watching it growing up. Like, the deaths were like crazy. Like, the way people had died on that show was very crazy. And this had popped up on my homepage. I was like, it'd be an interesting video to react to. So I figured, why not check it out? Let's want to see what the video is about. Because I do remember watching A Thousand Ways to Die, like, back in the day. It was kind of funny. Some things were funny, some things were like kind of serious, but like most of the time it's kind of funny. So let's take a trip down memory lane and see what this is about.
Shows in the early 2000s were unhinged. It's a whole subgenre on YouTube to talk about them, and I eat it up every single time. Popcorn bowl in hand, but barely eating it because my jaw is too busy being on the ground. Biggest Loser? Who the fuck? Mansers, which will fully turn you into a lesbian.
I remember Mansers. I remember this show. This and Thousand Ways to Die were like the only two shows on Spike that I would watch all the time. I remember Mansers. That was a crazy show. Mansers was very crazy.
And playing it straight, where you guess who the gay man is?
Some of these old rugged riders like a different rodeo.
Okay, wait. I sometimes understand the argument of times just being different. But goddamn, I am so glad.
Yeah, times were different back into the 2000s. Like, you could say early, mid, and late 2000s. Times were very different compared to now in the 2020s. Especially in 2026. Like, I think you could get away with a lot of stuff back then than you can now. So these shows were a product of their time. You could tell they were a product of their time, because I don't think this coming out now, especially Mansers, climate written, I don't think it'll work.
That we have come as far as we have. Humor nowadays is more than just being offensive. Times really were just so different. More like people were stupider. If women, disabled people, or the LGBTQIA+ community wasn't the butt of a joke, you could expect to hear a bunch of crickets. Where do you think A Thousand Ways to Die, fits in with all of this? Yes. A Thousand Ways to Die was a show that first aired in 2008 on Spike TV and ended its run in 2012. It's a show about, different strange ways of dying. Often very reliable sources.
The wind is blowing against the side of the tent, and it's probably trying to push the side of the tent over.
Come in to explain how the
Yo, that explanation is hilarious. That's like that's like this basic explanation of what's happening to the tent. That's hilarious. Oh, the wind's pushing the tent, so the tent is gonna be pushed because of the wind. Oh my goodness. Yeah, like, I forgot about the people they would bring onto the show to explain things. Oh my goodness, I forgot. This takes me back. I forgot about the show so much.
death could absolutely happen. Kind of a Pawn Stars method, except most of these people are kind of just like, hi.
And if you're over 21, you're pretty much done at these kind of places.
But then again, were these actually professionals, or were these just people off the street, or people that was cast in audition? Because I think half of these people probably weren't actual people. I mean, not to say they're not real people. I mean, it's just saying, like, maybe these are like paid actors. Because you never know.
Because it's all about young, tight, and...
Hold on. Was she on the show? Oh my goodness. Trish was on the show? I never knew this. If I did, I wouldn't have known who she was at the time. Oh wow. This is crazy. This feels like full circle in a way.
Bubbles in the right places.
Yes, that was Trisha Paytas. I don't know what show she hasn't been in. at this point. Each death is given a comedic name with a pun and a tale on why they are a bad person. Except sometimes their trait is just being a lesbian. Not exactly all of them have negative attributes, but the majority do, because nobody wants to sit and watch a 20-minute show about good people having very morbid deaths. There are actually a lot of things I didn't remember about this show until I put it on, and I want to talk about it today because, you know, sure, it's a dark show in general, but there's also some deep lore about the show behind the scenes.
That's a good question. That's a good question. Where did deaths will? That's a good question, because just like I said, the people that brought on the show as experts, professionals, were they really professionals, or were just people paid to just say stuff? Like, were they paid actors? Because you never know, the show could have been very scripted.
The question that everyone who knows this show has had: are the deaths real? At the beginning of each episode, you get a disclaimer.
Warning. The stories portrayed in this show are based on real deaths and are extremely graphic.
As the kid I was, I completely took this at face value, as well as...
Me too. When I watched the show, I was a kid. I was probably early teenager. So I took it as face value, I would say. Well, I'm gonna say yeah.
As a lot of other people, I genuinely thought that these were deaths I had to look out for in the future, because yes, I was going to swallow a pool table ball as a party trick, as we all have done. The answer is yes. But no, I know, not the answer that you want to hear. The deaths portrayed are mostly based on situations that could happen. The dramatic license can get you pretty far. Based on a true story, technically is not illegal, even if completely false. It can be argued with, well, it's fictional. The dramatic license allows you to completely alter reality to do nearly whatever you want to make something more entertaining. Can you still be sued by someone who's not okay with the alteration of their story? Yes. But just saying it's real, it's not illegal. So because these deaths could happen, or something kind of similar has happened in the past, based on a true story. Hence why I say yes and no, because there are real stories that are talked about, but so many of them are just stretched for entertainment that they're not really real. Also, no, they did not reach 1,000 Ways to Die. They only ended up airing 518 deaths, heavily repeating numbers at that: 47, 105, 213, 246, 284, 293, 325, 330, 355, and 444 were all used for 2 separate deaths. Also, the number 412 was used for 6 different deaths. So yeah, nah, that's bullshit.
Spike TV. I don't think this channel's a thing no more. I don't even know what it is now. I don't know. I think it got bought out or something, or it just fizzled away. But this channel was a byproduct of its time. Very byproduct of its time. If Spike TV was out today, I think it'll be canceled. I think this channel would be canceled if it came out today.
Spike TV in general was a mess. It was rebranded from a country media network, which is very interesting and random, and was turned to a network for men. If you're a woman, get the fuck out of here. Go play with your tampons, or, you know, whatever you do for fun. M for manly. The network just announced that they are developing a new late night show that focuses on manformation for the true guy's guy. They are especially interested in shows that might cash in on the Tiger Woods controversy. Sounds like a perfect man cave viewing. You want to make a show about men cheating on their wives? Sounds about right. Spike TV produced a book to provide their employees in order to immerse them into the network's vision. What are some things that you could find in this book? Get more action. Whether it's horsepower, bikinis, explosions, crime, vampires. Seems kind of just Vegas, video games, ninjas. High-speed chases, body slams, shootouts, extreme sports, or good old-fashioned beatdowns. Spike is the place guys go for supercharged, original action-infused entertainment. Okay. Could be worse, but let's keep looking. Spike is unapologetically male. We know. Enough is enough. You've been PC'd. By the way, that means politically corrected. To death. Doesn't it just suck when you call a woman a dishwasher and someone tells you not to? Spike isn't here to preach or tell you how to live your lives. That's what wives and girlfriends are for.
Oh, brother, this...
Oh god, I'm done. I know this video is not about Spike TV, but I really just...
Bro. Bro, like, I feel like they tried so hard, bro. They tried so hard with all this just to, like, cater to the male demographic. I just feel like they tried so hard. Like, I feel like this is, like, in a way, it's supposed to be for, like, men, but at the same time, I feel like they were trying to cater to, like, teenage boys. Like, at my age at the time when I watched this, like, this is so, like, coded for teenage boys going into, like, young adulthood. Like, does that even, like, sound like something for, like, actual grown men? Like, it just sounds like something that was, like, made for, teenage boys. Like, again, like, this is just, like, from the ages from, like, let's say 12 to 18, maybe 35, I don't know. But I just feel like, you know, I don't know of any grown man that was actually watching the shows or watching this channel, because I watched it again, but I was like, what, a teenager, like about 12, 13, 14 years old watching this. So it's just like, I feel like it catered to that demographic more. But, you know, they try to market for, like, I guess you could say grown men. But again, was there any grown men actually watching this? Unless you were, like, I guess say college age, but, like, if you were, like, I don't know, 40, would you be watching this?
Wanted to set the scene for what to expect when watching 1,000 Ways to Die. I mean it when I say that there are some insane episodes, ones that I 100% cannot and do not feel comfortable talking about on here, involving several episodes about bestiality, necrophilia, and insane fetish content. So I'm just going to talk about the most memorable stories that I can talk about, and then we're going to move on to the downfall of the show. I recorded my friends and I watching this episode because I knew how insane it was going to be, and I needed a raw reaction. A man eats some mushrooms by himself in the desert. Fantastic start. I know.
He asked the bushes for an answer and got nothing.
Why are you dirty?
I got dirty.
It then cuts to furries, and I say furries, furries in the desert having a group session of 18 plus activities.
Oh, whoa, whoa.
What? What the heck? So, he stumbled upon furries? That's strange.
The man watches this happen and wants to get involved. An expert, like all of the deaths, pops in to give his 2 cents.
A furry orgy.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew there was going to be... Of course. Yeah. Of course. Checks out. Checks out. Of course. Of course.
Is often known as a fur pile.
Something this show loves to do is make really bad puns while telling the story, and this is a perfect example of that.
But the cock shooed Randy away with his pecker.
Alright. Alright.
After being denied by the furries. Crazy sentence. He happens to look at another one in the distance all by themselves, but that happens to be an actual bear. Naturally, when this man puts his hand on the bear attacks him. Lesson learned, I guess. This one is still the reason that I'm still pretty terrified to go on a slip and slide. A girl and her boyfriend. Yes, that is Jennifer Lawrence. They like to pull hop.
Really? Oh, okay. Interesting to see Jennifer Lawrence. Okay.
During the summertime. This house had some construction going on in the backyard, which made it pretty unsafe to play around near. The boyfriend starts to mess around a little bit, be pretty irresponsible.
Put it down!
Let's hope not. Oh.
She has really come a long way.
She has, and also I was thinking that the nail gun was gonna, like, pierce her. I was like, but thank goodness it didn't pierce her.
In her acting journey, he decides to set up a slip and slide which goes right into the pool. And unbeknownst to them, a nail was sticking out under it. This is going...
Okay, now we're diving into some Final Destination type territory. Ooh, this is giving Final Destination.
Exactly where you think. The nail cuts him right in the gut while sliding on it. Our expert comes in and explains how this could absolutely happen and cause this insane death. When I'm sure, without a script and cameras on, that he might say something different. When you ask someone about
I could already tell by that image what's about to happen.
Cause this insane death. When I'm sure, without a script and cameras on, that he might say something different.
Just by this, I can already tell. Let me guess. It's gonna explode inside her body. Or I'm assuming, yeah, it's gonna explode inside her body.
When you ask someone about a death that they remember from this show, this one is typically top 3 because of how crazy the concept is. A woman decides to get chest implants after deciding to become a pole dancer. Yep, this show was made for frat boys. That's for sure. She finds the cheapest procedure.
Frat boys and teenage boys. That's what I would think it was like for teenage boys and frat boys, or just college age. I would say teenage boys and college age boys. This channel was made for. Again, the way they described the channel, what it was going to be, I would say I don't think any grown man at the time was watching this show or this channel. I think it was mostly like teenage boys and college boys watching this.
That she can, and he just does it right then and there.
It was very edgy. Everything on this channel was very edgy. So it was catering to like the edgy crowd, which again would be like more teenage boys and college age.
For her, no preparation. It then cuts to 2 weeks later, where she is getting on the flight, which has every man looking at her, cause boob big. The flight takes off, and because of the altitude change, something starts going very wrong. Apparently, the doctor used poor quality implants, and they're pretty much just water balloons. Boob get bigger. Everyone starts looking at her because there is a bubbling noise coming from the implants, and they just keep getting larger and larger. This guy starts smiling and holding back.
Isn't that some type of fetish? I don't know what you'll call it, but I feel like that is. Yo, who wrote this episode? I know what you are. Whoever wrote this episode, I know what you are. I know. I know what you are.
Laughter because of how dumb this looks.
That stripper's gonna bomb in her chest!
Also, is that physically possible to happen? I don't think so. Then again, I'm not a woman, nor have I got implants, or a doctor. But I don't think that's physically possible to happen.
Oh my god. 3 things, real quick. 1, there is no one on that plane. 2, this guy doesn't give a gaff. 3, you can see that the boobs are not attached to her. Cinema. Boob explode. This one has absolutely been debunked, but it's just too golden not to talk about. I was never interested in waterbeds because of this episode. In fact, I've always been terrified of waterbeds because of this episode. After a crazy night out for New Year's Eve, this man woke up restrained to the bed. To show how wild and chaotic the night was, it just keeps showing clips of all of them sipping on some nice cold Coca-Cola. After reminiscing about the night, he realizes, shit. I'm stuck. And while trying to wiggle his way out, the waterbed gets popped with his heel, causing him to slowly sink into the bed, getting covered with water and slowly drowning. The 2 girls that he had fun with the night before are definitely liable, gotta say that. That is evil behavior. Who did they think was gonna get him out? So, big fuck that. Whenever I think about waterbeds, this will come to mind every single time.
Okay, I don't know what happened to the key. I was thinking more so like the key swallowed the key. I don't know, because like I would think that he would do something like that. You know, he had a crazy night, so I would think that he would swallow the key, even though that's kind of cartoonish to do. You know what episode I remember, and I thought you would mention, was the Chevy Chase episode. That episode where the guy is into big women, and I forgot how I don't know if he died because the woman was on top of her or something. I can't remember, but I remember that episode vividly. That was like, and the candy episode was the candy episode. The candy and underwear episode, I remember that one. That was a wild one too. It's funny she didn't mention those, but I think was the candy episode the same one as the Chevy Chase episode? I don't think so. I think those 2 separate, but I do remember watching that one. I remember watching those 2 vividly. When I think of Thousand Ways to Die, I think of those 2 episodes. That comes to mind.
1,000 Ways to Die naturally faced criticism, the biggest one being that they implied that the victims deserved to die. And don't get me wrong, some of them did, but a man violating a woman's privacy by peeping in her window while undressed was set up in the same way and tone as a girl going on a date with another girl and getting electrocuted because her shoes were off. Because it was a show made by men, for men, the women were extremely and grossly sexualized and used as props, which just gives the show a really bad and strange vibe when you dive deep into it. Anytime that lesbians were brought up, it was always sex-related situations, which is obviously just heavy fetishization, and if a woman was the victim, it was near always sexual to be entertaining for men that wanted big boob. In general, though, it's not too different from something like Final Destination when you take aside the subtle homophobia.
Yeah, the civil side that that was very Final Destination. The nail on the civil side was very Final Destination. And as far as like the women being portrayed, you know what? looking back at it now, I didn't even notice that. I mean, again, I was a teenager. I was mostly, ambered about the deaths and stuff, and thought it was crazy and wild. But I didn't really pay attention to like all the sexual stuff. Now that you bring it up, wow. I didn't. Well, then again, the whole Chevy Chase video episode was kind of, yeah. I can see that. I can see that now. Again, like I said, it just came out today. It would not work in today's climate. It wouldn't work. It's a byproduct of its time. Very byproduct of its time. Did it age well?
And severe misogynistic energy. Why did 1,000 Ways to Die end? Exactly. In 2012, the show was averaging 1.6 million viewers, which was really impressive for the time. So what could possibly be the reason? What did you say? That staff was being mistreated, which led them to going on strike? Damn. Am I shocked? After over 24 crew members wanted to become unionized, their positions were revoked, leading to a strike as they were not being paid the proper amount, working extremely long hours, and had a lack of health benefits. Once the positions were unable to be filled, they closed the show up for good in 2012. There's another form of criticism that I have seen, and I think it is extremely, extremely valid, and I agree. Is not fucking okay, and that is the way that they went about real, actual deaths that they wanted to recreate. There are specific stories in the show that have a direct correlation, and it feels like an absolute mockery about the situation. Gary Hoy was a lawyer in a high-rise office building who would put on tours for law students and interns. He was extremely respected and very successful in the firm. Because the building was intimidating to newcomers, he would push himself into the windows to demonstrate that it was completely safe and to lessen some of that stress. In 1993, when giving a tour and attempting to demonstrate the windows like he had countless times before, it gave out and he fell to his death 24 floors high. His death was so devastating to the law firm that
oh man, R.I.P. to him. It's sad to hear that happens. Sad to hear that happen. I mean, he was just doing his job, just trying to like help newcomers, not to be scared. And, sorry to hear that. And I guess 1,000 Ways didn't take his death lightly.
3 years after it closed down, in the episode that depicts his death, the man is an arrogant shithead that makes women feel uncomfortable with ease. He tries to impress the woman attorneys with his bravery while slamming into the windows. This specific time, the window cracks and he falls through. The girl Loki looks happy about it, but he was a perv. So I get it. So when you compare the two, it's quite upsetting to know that they took a good man's accident and turned it into a comedic, predatory.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up. It's kind of messed up. It's just like a slap to the face, pretty much. It's like a big slap to the face. Very big.
Twist. Gary Hoy was so cared about that it affected an entire business. It just feels wrong to twist it that way. Clarabelle Lansing was a flight attendant for Aloha Airlines, and during an airplane mishap that caused a tear on the side of the plane, the roof and walls of the cabin tore away while 24,000 feet in the air. She was thrown out with the air pressure change, which caused a suction motion. No oxygen was being provided to the masks that dropped from above for other passengers, and they were all exposed to negative 50 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 45 degrees Celsius. No one else died in the landing. 65 people were injured in the accident, and Clarabelle's body was never found. She was a senior flight attendant and said to be extremely friendly and helpful, and based on what eyewitnesses said, it was extremely devastating and traumatic to see, as it wasn't an instant.
Wow. Not gonna lie, just hearing this story makes me want, like, I feel like I could, like, cry just hearing this. Like, I feel like tears coming. It's very devastating. It's very devastating. It's really sad that they didn't find her body. Like, like, because I wish they would, to give her like a good resting place, like a good burial resting place. But it's just, yeah. And let me guess, Adaz Grace took this and made it seem like she was like, what, some bimbo or something.
Thing. Of course, though, A Thousand Ways to Die depicts her as a complete asshole. She becomes agitated by everyone's existence and extremely hates her job.
Can I please have a pillow?
No, you may not. Thank you very much.
That's crazy. She just starts throwing shit around and acting like a dick until the ceiling of the plane flies off and she is sucked up and thrown out of the plane. It's just another example of a really great person's tragic experience twisted up for the vibe of the show.
She's a very sweet lady, easy to work with, and she'll be very much missed.
And when you twist it for the plot and entertainment, it's just really insensitive to those who were directly involved, whether it was someone that knew the person or someone that was there to see what happened.
True, it's very distasteful when you do that. Like, it's very distasteful.
There has been a push from A Thousand Ways to Die fans for a reboot, but from what I found, it's just not gonna happen. People claiming that it's in the process, but there's no evidence for it. One of the supposed reboot's names is called Deadly Games, and another called A Thousand Ways to Lie, which actually did get a pilot episode, but it was so bad that nothing more came out of it. Instead of deaths, it was based on crimes. A Thousand Ways to Die was just one of those shows that was mainly successful because of the time that it came out. The majority of shows back then would just not work in 2026.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some of these shows back then that came out back then would not work in 2026. It just wouldn't work. We live at different times. Times has changed. It just wouldn't work. It's just a byproduct of its time. Like, just leave it in the past. Let's not try to bring it back. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Naturally, of course. I mean, it was almost 20 years ago. If you wanna cry real quick with me. The show was just so bad that it was good, but there are plenty of fair criticisms that I absolutely agree with. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, like, subscribe, hype it up. That's a new thing. My social media will be in the description below, and if you did not notice, I have a little bit of a new setup. It's kind of similar vibe. I mean, it's all the same stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing well with the new year.
And that was The Dark Reality of A Thousand Ways to Die by Ali Trisco, if I'm not saying her name right. So let me know what you think about the video. Let me know what you think about A Thousand Ways to Die. Let me know. Let's have a conversation, have a discussion. What was your favorite episode or favorite memory, or what was something that you remember from the show? Let me know in the comments. Until then, I'll see you next time.